But Tina, you the first one. You right here with us.
McCarthy. They removed McCarthy.
Wasn't that something?
They removing him?
They not removing him. They removed him.
Oh,
It's never happened.
Stacey
Marcel,
calling me.
who was it back?
I don't know. Who's bad, Tammy?
I don't know. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Don't worry if you're fat.
How much time we got?
20 seconds.
My last thing.
Hungry lady.
Got to eat 5 times a day if you want to lose weight.
For real?
Mm-hmm. Small portion. I tried that intermittent fasting. Got bigger size.
Whatever you're going through, put it all in his hands. On this October the 4th, 10-4. 10-4 means over and out. So whatever you're going through, I decree and declare that it is over and out on this 10-4. It's your main man, Action Jackson. And you know what? What's over and out?
My vacation.
She's back. I'm
My
so
vacation.
excited.
No, you shouldn't be excited. First of all, I never worked so hard on a vacation in my entire life.
Who you telling?
I didn't even go to Indiana. But I did go to Memphis.
I told Adam yesterday, I said, I miss Tammy there. I said, but I also kind of like this 1 month on, 1 month off. Maybe we can keep that going. He gonna say, no, bro, it's y'all two this time. I said, you are right.
Thank you so much. No, I had a great time. Listen, you know, the Purple Turtle book tour officially started, and we kicked it off in Memphis. We went to Full View Missionary Baptist Church on Sunday, and when I tell you that church got an anointing on it that moved both me and Tanya. And listen, if you are in Memphis, you do not want to miss that anointing. I just got to give a shout out to Dr. Reverend Jonathan McReynolds. No, not the singer.
Okay. Any relations?
His cousin.
Wow. Well, you know what? I love Memphis. And when I go to Memphis with the Churches of God in Christ for their national convention, I usually skip Sunday service with the church and go to Al Green Church.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, you know, because
what? I saw we went to the museum, and it's a black exhibit now, and Al Green was in the exhibit.
Listen,
I didn't know he had a church in Memphis.
He got a church, and when he is high in the spirit, he don't say amen. He said, can I get a yeehaw?
That's what he can say. Everybody can say yeehaw and get away with it.
Now, he give a whole concert, too, when he knows visitors in the audience.
Well, let me tell you something. I'm literally celebrating Al Green, but I got to keep on putting a highlight on the Full View Missionary Baptist Church. The First Lady Princess, she was amazing. Literally, there was not one person in there that didn't have the Spirit of God and an anointing on them. Every single thing about that church. I said to them when they gave us an opportunity to speak, I know God attended here today himself, right here in this church. He didn't go to no other church. He came to this one. But I'm happy to be back, believers. You know, whenever I go anywhere, I take you in my heart with you. I carry you in the highest esteem. And definitely, Marcel, thank you for holding it down. You and Adam and Zoe.
Yeah, you know what? You were missed. You were definitely missed. Aww. And I am glad that the Purple Turtle is...
We sold out.
I was going to say, I don't know. What do I say? Sailing, gliding. What do turtles do?
Turtles get sold. On this book tour,
well, I'm glad that the Purple Turtle is sold. Cruising across this country one step at a time, one book at a time.
Our next stop is London, England.
All right, and you got to take your business development consultant with you, right?
So we're on the Black Child book tour, and literally the next stop is London, England. I thought that was a big jump from Memphis to England, but hey, who am I?
It is a big jump from London to England, but you know what? Wherever you go, I know you're taking the Lord along with you.
Absolutely, and literally, I was going to go back to Memphis this weekend to go to the church, but they said they stream it, so they saved me a trip.
Oh wow! Well, listen, Full View Missionary Baptist. Ain't nothing like a missionary Baptist church. So
Nothing
I know
like
you
it.
had good service. Well, we're glad to have you back in service here. I know you've been off, but you've been on because you've been fighting tirelessly for
Oh,
child care
yes.
and you've been on the front line. And I know we're going to talk about all of the great stuff that you've been doing in the Raw because you are Raw. And guess what? Today is Raw because it's Wednesday and our main man, Stacey Chauncey, is with us. So listen, believers is I was about to say, as Uncle Remus would say, as Charmaine from Uncle Remus would say, call your friends and your frenemies and tell them to tune in to the Brunch Bunch right here on Inspiration 1390.
Y'all don't call them. They probably not gonna answer because you know when you call somebody after you text them, they be like, "Oh, the phone get like, I ain't calling me." People do not know how to transfer from a text to a call. They get all discombobulated, right? So text them.
Welcome back to Mirror.
Thank you.
Tina said her daycare kids love the book.
Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you, Tina. Something went wrong, and it said something went wrong. I need to get me a new phone. See if Tanya sent me information about the judge I'm supposed to talk about.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
Y'all been playing Kamisha's song out here. I thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
You got a napkin in this big bag, this big camping bag you got?
I do not.
You ain't got no napkin in that bag?
Equipment in here. I just use this so I can put my glass, but it's clean.
Okay, thanks.
This is the last.
Text her and ask her to send it to me. Send me the judge's
And
name.
make sure you get some behind the scenes.
Which judge?
I'm on a diet.
About 12:30.
Yes. Okay. She'll know.
His name, right?
Throw him over here. Now and later too. I want now. I want one now, and I want one later.
I've never had this.
What's the speaker's name?
Stacey Chauncey.
No, the speaker that got ousted.
Ousted. Not Mitch McConnell.
You just said it too.
I know it.
Oh no, you just
Pull
said
it up, quick.
it.
Speaker ousted. The name will come up.
Kevin McCarthy.
Kevin McCarthy.
Yes. Do you want that?
That's all I need. Kevin McCarthy.
You got all of it. You don't need that.
Kevin McCarthy. Kevin McCarthy.
She said she got it.
I would just say, I just need his name. Ain't he not pregnant no more? What's going on?
I haven't had any candies. You know what? It's you. I haven't eaten any candy while you were gone. And Stacey ain't brought none either.
Well, that's why.
You know what? You're a bad influence.
Move out the way.
Right.
The queen is back.
Queen.
And yesterday, when we walked out, I went in the room and got some candy. I never ate none of it.
Start watching all the Renaissance.
Girl, wasn't that the bomb?
It was absolutely beautiful.
Girl,
We-
I'm so like
We
distraught that the tour is over. I'm not in the.
It made me even more.
I'm not in the thing.
you can go to the movies and watch it.
Oh my
Oh,
bad.
I got my ticket today.
Her and Taylor Swift got a movie, don't they?
So something that you do not hear is speakers getting ousted, right? But can't say that tomorrow because Kevin McCarthy got ousted. Another thing you do not hear is an HBCU getting shot up. However, again, you can't say that tomorrow because Morgan State's homecoming was interrupted by a mass shooting. Gunfire erupted ahead of a homecoming event at Morgan State University Tuesday night. Authorities say 4 students and another person suffered injuries, and the campus was put on lockdown, displacing many students from their dorms to shelter them in place to keep them safe. Well, the shooting happened outside the coronation of Mr. and Miss Morgan State, held at the Murphy Fine Arts Center, for the Associated Press reports. As students headed to the coronation ball dressed in all their finery, they heard gunfire and began running across the campus. Police Commissioner Richard Worley said the police responded to the report of the shooting around 9:25 p.m. Well, upon their arrival, they heard the shattering of windows from the residence hall and believed that there were still an active shooter actually in the residence. So a shelter in place was issued and lifted at 12:30 a.m. after SWAT determined that it was clear and safe to move about. At the moment, no arrests have been made, and there is no information about the alleged shooter or shooters. Well, the victims, 4 men and a woman, ages 18 to 22, were taken to the hospital for non-life-threatening injuries, Worley said. So for our students of Morgan State University of Police, Lance Hatcher has reported. Well, at Morgan State, classes were canceled Wednesday and counselors will be available to students. And the school president, David Wilson, said that we will be assessing what will happen for the rest of the homecoming week as early as tomorrow morning. Now, if I'm the president, homecoming cancel. Okay, I'm just saying cancel.
You cancel it?
Yeah.
What? My first priority is to keep my students, my staff, and everyone else safe, right? So the police warned the campus community to stay clear of the area surrounding Thurgood Marshall Hall and the Murphy's Fine Arts Center. The Baltimore office of the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. Now, if you happen to see ATF on somebody's shirt, guess what? You in big trouble. And Morgan State, whoever shot it up, y'all are in big trouble. Well, some parents rush to the campus to check on their children, of course, naturally. You want to come to a university and feel safe. You want to send your children to a university and know that they are safe. And it seems like Morgan State really stepped up and kept their students safe. But things happen, and things are happening across the world. But you just don't typically hear about a mass shooting in a Black environment like that. So we are praying for all of the Morgan State students, their faculty, and of course the president has a big job along with the security and the police in the Morgan State area. And well, it actually said the incident comes after a year-long investigation into over 50 racially motivated threats of violence toward HBCUs all over the country. Morgan was targeted with a bomb threat in February of last year, resulting in yet another shelter in place and remote instructions to keep the students inside.
Wow.
I got a question.
Yes.
And it's 3 words. And it's pertaining, we like
Just
playing a game.
ask the question.
It's pertaining to the shooter. 3 words.
We don't want a riddle, just get the question.
Black or white?
They don't know. They don't have anybody.
I know. Lord Jesus.
Sometimes you got to be a listener.
Well, no, I know. I wanted to know if you had did any other due diligence prior to just this story, because I noticed that it didn't say in this news story if he was black or white, but that's very important to know on the HBCU campus.
Okay, tell me why. Because if you were a black shooter, what would happen as opposed to if you were a white shooter?
There's no difference, but you said in the beginning of your story, this is something we thought we would never hear, mass shooting on a black campus. So now I want to distinguish between if it was a black shooter or a white shooter, and if it was racially motivated, as a white man came on campus to kill a bunch of black people.
Well, that's a good question, because they did say that previously. We remember when they were threatening a lot of HBCUs. And they were thinking that it was racially motivated. But at this point, whether it was racially motivated or if it was something that was just random, a shooter is a shooter, and you disrupted something that is sacred to HBCUs. Their homecoming festivities, where alums come from all over the country, and usually HBCUs all over the world, to reignite and re-engage in their alma mater.
How many injuries did they have?
4. But non-life-threatening.
Nothing fatal.
No,
Thank God.
Nothing fatal.
Could have went another way.
But you do know that stuff has happened. It always happens. But social media now brings a lot of this stuff to the forefront.
Well, I went to an HBCU, and I'm very connected with HBCUs, and typically that's outside of the norm.
Yeah.
I was
going to say the same. And I'm not a alum of HBCU.
Yes, you went to Howard,
but I went to Howard in my mind. But thank you for honoring that, Tammy. But I never hear it. And so that's why. And the reason I asked was it black or white, not so that we could start a race riot or anything. But I noticed when there's stories about African Americans, we don't hear when it's a white person doing something towards black, the news doesn't report on that, and they don't make that the front of. But if it was a black teenager, we always see in the headline, black teen, thugs, that. you know.
And
So
I would agree with that, but you're right, not a mass shooting type situation. But a lot of times on those campuses, you have individuals not part of that university that come on campus.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm speaking of.
That's true.
And it might be a shooting in an isolated situation.
Yeah.
But not a mass shooting.
Yeah.
well,
You're
know,
right.
that's normal. You know, that's like hood. You
Where
know,
people are.
you know. But
Where
when
people are and guns are, people gonna pop them.
yeah, somebody retarded cousin brought that gun and got to say something, and they too scared to really do anything, so they got to shoot. You know, but
Up in the air
a mass shooting just coming to
Yeah.
maliciously shoot up and kill 4, 5, 10, 100 people. That's not the norm on a black campus. Unfortunately, in this country,
It's
mass
becoming.
shootings have become the norm. You know,
And you know what? We have to stop it because we are normalizing an abnormal situation, meaning that when we hear about things like this, whether it be on a black campus or white campus, people go initially, and then it's like, okay, we're going to pray for the victims, and then we move on about our day. We do not put enough legislation into into effect so that we can do something preventive to stop these mass shootings. And anybody can come on any campus.
Yeah.
But see, like the story reported, when you send your kids to a school, be it black, white, or plaid, you send them thinking that they are safe. But it's a false sense of security, just like when you're on vacation and you're in Jamaica, my favorite place on the planet, and you're thinking, okay, it's dark, but it's okay because I'm in Jamaica. No, you have to consistently be acutely aware of your surroundings.
That's it.
You feel that way about church as well.
Yep.
And unfortunately, you know, you don't think when you go into church on a Sunday that you gonna praise God and get shot at the same time,
or get robbed as.
Well, we ain't gonna talk about we ain't gonna talk about the lying bishop. But in other words,
not the lying bishop.
You know, it was Reverend Evans was asking him now. In times like these, in which we are living, we've got to pray. We got to not just pray. We got to work our prayer and our faith. Stay vigilant. We got to pay attention, and then we'll be able to say like Evelyn Ternatine a G, if I said that right. It's already done. Security is done. Protection is done. It's Safety and Security Wednesday right here on the Brunch Bunch. It's already done on Inspiration 1390.
Yeah, you did. I've never heard of a mass shooting on them.
No, I agree with that, but I'm just talking about just shootings and people coming on campus. You know.
Oh yeah, you have isolated shootings.
Right. That's what I'm talking about. So you know.
Well, that's what That's why I wanted to bring. But if we never hear like these crazy white people shot up a black college, but if it was something different, black thugs came and just like with the Howard situation. When Howard had a situation at their homecoming, but it wasn't white, it was black kids, local teens that were terrorizing the Howard campus, and they made sure they let you know black teens were shooting and disrupting and doing all that.
And here's the bad part about it is, what was your motivation? You could have applied to.
Right.
You didn't have to be on the outside. You could have been a student.
Nothing to do.
We hope it had nothing to do with a young lady. A lot of times that stuff is always
that's a good point.
A young lady.
That's a very good point.
Well, Justice here is the Black Student Union president, former for Columbia College, Chicago.
Oh, wow.
So I know he knows.
And Justin was nodding his head and was talking. He was like,
yeah. Yeah, it's said that this stuff is happening. Like the local comedian here, his daughter was shot and killed on a college campus this year. Frazier. God, I can't think of his first name. And they did a
comedian?
He's a comedian here. And it rocked him. His first child, she just went away her freshman year, and a shooting happened on campus at a campus party, an isolated event, but she was shot and killed.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
That's so sad.
Yeah.
A straight A student.
Don't matter if you had 10 kids and they got all F's, it's still your baby.
That's your baby, yeah.
Child off to school to get education, bring them home.
You want me to pull up Stacey's intro now?
No, what's going on?
Okay.
Bring the tambourines out.
Zoe took us back with this one.
Tina said, not the lying bishop.
I forgot what happened to him.
Who?
Yeah, we need an update on that.
We did update on him.
I know, but
he got in more trouble. It was something else came.
Since then, though.
But did he go to jail?
He's been a ghost since then. That last story, that's the last
He's been
one.
real quiet.
Well, you know, it took a long time for them court cases.
Who did he say he wanted to box?
Can you write down the judge's name for me?
He wanted to box. Was it Larry Reed? No, it was a preacher.
He wanted to actually like do a boxing match.
No, it wasn't a preacher because it was somebody that got attention. It made the media want to talk about it.
Was it D.L. Hughley?
I think so.
I think so. I think it was D.L. Hughley.
But you know what? When D.L. Hughley talks, I listen. Because he's not a comedian when he's being an advocate. And he's spot on.
Spot on.
When Dave Chappelle talked, I listen. Even in his comedy.
No, when Ashley Larry talked, I listened.
Who? I'm like, who?
You know what that is, right? On the Dave Chappelle show. He had to Ashley.
You know what? I've never watched the Dave Chappelle show.
Really?
Yeah.
Who looks at the background?
Everybody there in the studio went like, really?
Right. Stacey, like, the background singing, you don't know?
You don't know the pimp's name?
Talk about when the Pip sing, got listened.
Right.
What about Gladys?
Oh, yeah. Who is that again? Who knew the pimp's name?
So you on a diet now, eating healthy.
Don't play with me.
Tammy is always on some type of diet, though.
My yo-yo weight.
Eval said when DL speaks, she listens too. Eval said when DL speaks, she listens.
Yeah,
too.
DL been breaking it down right for layman.
I don't know how to listen to him. Where he be at?
Everywhere.
Oh, I ain't seen them.
Instagram. Everywhere.
Everywhere.
He was at the Improv not too long ago.
I don't think you're funny, so I wouldn't go to a comedy
I
show.
don't know how he's king of comedy.
And he was terrible. I fast forward past that every time. Maybe he good at roasting. His stand up wasn't that good to me.
Not coming and show late.
Well, that's the thing. A good stand up knows how to do that crowd work. And
right.
Roast the people.
But you know, some of the funniest comedians never make it to the main stage. Because Kevin Hart is not funny to me. No. Yeah.
Kevin Hart is.
Because he just do like wild like sounds and stuff. No.
Bernie Mac was the king of comedy.
But I think they're funny until they become mainstream. When they become mainstream, you gotta.
But I can't find no old videos of Kevin Hart that I want to watch.
Kevin Hart.
Dion Cole. It's funny. I'm trying to think of another one who got a special. Now, Lunel is usually very funny to me. I didn't really like her new special.
Her special was hilarious.
You like it?
Like Lunel.
It's only 30 minutes too. It was okay, but it wasn't like.
It was hysterical.
Oh yeah, definitely. Now that was hilarious when she said the young man talk about she cussed too much, and she was like, "Well, baby, I just want you to come over here and blank me."
When you talk about the airplane, you know I love that.
DJ B-Lo, Steve Harvey is not funny.
Steve Harvey is funny. He's a king of comedy too.
Oh Lord, Tammy, I got to take you to see some funny comedians.
We go to United Center.
And you know what? You know nothing but comedians.
We go United Center tonight. Dave
I'm
Chappelle.
going on Friday.
Oh, did it start?
Yes,
You going?
Friday.
MJ.
I didn't buy tickets because the baby was supposed to be born this week. Maddox, so I didn't want to buy tickets. Right.
The baby's 12.
Well, if one of your people don't come, let me know so I can go with
got
you.
invited.
Oh, dang it.
Yeah, I was begging MJ.
Dang, it's this week.
I was telling MJ, if you find a ticket, give it to me, man.
MJ, tell me MJ.
He blocked off today just so he could go.
Are you serious? Oh, he finna put this on. Okay, we up next, right? What commercial is that? You can move that down.
I got one more bite.
Well, it ain't your time to talk no way. Keep eating. Keep eating. This is what's going on. I gotta get to Stacey.
I gotta eat on time, otherwise I won't lose weight.
You gotta do the Al Sharpton diet.
I'm not doing none of that.
He eat once a day, and he only eat one egg. And
One egg once a day.
One egg and like 3/4 of salad.
That's called starvation.
He lost a lot of weight. He real small.
Yeah, he looked at
himself.
And we were in the meeting, and at this whatever time it is, he stopped whatever he's doing to eat that one egg.
You said 4 scoops of salad.
3.
He's starving.
Yeah, of course.
So what's going on is Tammy is back and she took up all my time. So I'm gonna move. If I didn't do that, I'm like, dang, I gotta bring it like she been here all month long. Interrupt you. I didn't get to interrupt you today.
I'm not having it.
We didn't fight about nothing.
I got a whole new genre of tolerance for you.
Oh, but today, wait till
not even level. I got a genre way bigger than that.
Well, I just want to touch on a few things. We'll do a lightning round. Kamala Harris swears in LaFonza Butler, the third and only Black woman to serve in the U.S. Senate, and I believe she is the only Black woman serving at this time. So shout out to LaFonza Butler. She's Black. She's openly gay. And that's it for now. But listen, so shout out to LaFonza, right? LaFonza Butler. California Governor Gavin Newsom said that if the time came and he needed to appoint to the Senate, he would make sure that it was a Black woman, and he followed through on his promise. Okay. So shout out to Governor Newsom. Speaking of Black, let's talk about what's happening in the city of Chicago with the migrants. On last night, the West Side is in an uproar because the city of Chicago is taking a West Side Park and the Park District building and turning it into migrant housing. And the residents are peed off because we already don't have many parks, many activities. And Amerson Park on the West Side is used very heavily by the community for football, baseball, all these sports activities, and now they're being suspended to house migrants. The alderman is upset. The residents, if you haven't seen it on the news, hundreds of people came out. And you know, one thing about us, we don't always show up, you know, and when we need to show up, but they showed up, and unfortunately, there's nothing they can do about it. It's going to happen. Now, for the people who are talking about the mayor.
It's something they can do about it because somebody got to get reelected and somebody got to keep their job. It's something they can do about it. Maybe not immediately, but guess what? People who keep
the receipts.
Keep the receipts. There you go. But I will say this. Mayor Brandon Johnson has only been in office about 120 something days.
Minutes.
Yeah, right, minutes. And he came into a burning house, and unfortunately, it's falling on his administration. And we are looking for him to do some stuff because it needs to be done. Now, while you were out, Tammy, I had callers to call in about the migrant situation, and it was lit. But I've been quoting one of our callers, Miss Doris, I believe. Doris from Apostolic Church of God. I hope you listen. And she said, so sweet, 80-something years old. When they arrive on those buses, we should clean them up, feed them, and send them right back on them buses to where they came from.
Well, you know, the governor of Texas said, because they were supposed to have a certain amount of time to come. He said, I'm sending them 24/7. It's y'all's problem when they get there.
And you know what? I'm like, really, this is really getting out of hand. It's been out of hand, but it's really, really getting out of hand. I was on Madison at Uncle Remus the other day, and I had not seen so many migrants. Personally, I see them on the news, but they were just walking up and down the street going to the store, and I realized the police station was down the street, so I pulled up, and it was about 150 of them just camped outside the police station, not knowing how many on the inside, and something got to happen. But I want to know why they're not being sent to Latino neighborhoods. You know,
there are some in Latino neighborhoods.
They're not like you when you watch it. I'm gonna pull up for tomorrow the stats. When you look, it's all of the Black communities that are getting them, and their parks and buildings are being taken. And so I want to. There are some very robust Latino neighborhoods with parks and schools, and they don't speak English either. So why not send them to the neighborhoods where people can understand them and help them?
Great sense. But when does the last time that you saw government make great sense?
Never.
Initially.
And they've had probably about 17,000 that have been shipped to Chicago thus far.
Every day we get
Every day we're getting bus loads.
I rode by the police station on Cottage Grove, and it looked like a tent city in front of the police station. Can you believe that?
What is that, 3rd District? Yep.
I'm like Tina. We are full. We have no more room. Unfortunately, we don't. And you know what? All of the resources that are being pulled from child care, that are being pulled from the citizens and the residents of Chicago,
and our homeless community.
and that's why I said citizens and residents of Chicago, because there's still citizens and residents homeless. But I'm talking about all of us, because at the end of the day,
everybody,
it's taken away from everybody who should be getting these resources and are not, and it's just causing a lot of issues. And so there was, I saw a post, the Universal Circus is not coming to Chicago. And they said because of the migrants, but I don't know if that to be true. But maybe Washington Park will become a tent city. But Universal is traveling all around the country, but Chicago is not their stop, and they've been coming here since 1993.
I think that the citizens of Chicago would be more amenable if it was more spread out and not concentrated just in areas that are already disproportionately impacted, under-resourced, filled and riddled with unfunded mandates to begin with. And now it's a slap in the face to these communities that have to actually embrace migrants. I don't think people in those areas have anything against migrants or anybody. You know, we're a very loving culture.
Right.
But when you say, okay, when you make someone do something from infancy on up, if I make you do it, I'm going to automatically be resistant to doing it, as opposed to easing it in. And then the treatment of the migrants have been everything but humane.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I've been seeing on the news, and then we've talked to people, we had listeners that said, we don't, black people don't hate nobody, right? We're just more concerned about us and what we got to go through and what we've been through and what we're not getting. And now you're taking our resources away, like the park. So we just got to pray that they close the borders. Y'all talked about Trump when he said build that wall, but I see more black people talk about build that wall now.
I saw people actually getting their bricks and mortar, building their
taking
wall.
them like, you know what? Let's start a fundraiser. Buy a brick, build the wall. Let's go. We're gonna go. But let's just regulate it. We can't keep allowing. And then you send them to the schools without vaccinations. And I know some of y'all, now listen closely. Some of you black folks have found y'all some migrants, and you're letting them use your Uber account to deliver food. Because I've had 3 or 4 migrants come to my door delivering food, but the person face on the app is a black woman or black man. And they don't speak English because they just take their phone and they do me like this, and all the words on their phone in Spanish, and want me to click that I got the food. I said, oh, these black folks done got slick. They got them doing. They giving them a cut of their Uber Eats check. But you know what?
Now, we can be creative. Gucci come out with a new purse. Guess what? The hood came out with the next version of it 2 days later.
Well, we're going to pray for our mayor, our governor, and our president, that God gives them the right mind to do the right thing and to make sure everybody's taken care of. Like Tamara always says, what you're going to do for one, do for all. And speaking of doing for all, we're doing it for the fathers. October the 21st, Tammy, I don't know if you missed the announcement, but the Jackson Action Coalition and the Chicagoland Dad Squad are taking 100 fathers and their children to Brookfield Zoo for Dad Venture. Listen, it is going down October 21st from 10:30 to 4 p.m. I want to shout out to Commissioner Bill Lowry, Commissioner Tara Stamps, and Commissioner Dennis Deere. When I called them, they stepped up. And listen, Commissioner Bill Lowry, he just texted me. I said, I'm shouting you out on the air. He just dropped off 200 tickets to the zoo right here at the radio station for us. And they are like, the commissioners are stepping up like, do you need food? Do you need this? Do you need that? So I'm like, thank you so much. Yes. Shout out to the commissioners and shout out to Tennille Jackson. Yes. Chicago Mom Squad is donating to pay for the shirts for the Dad Squad so that we can all have some shirts.
We're doing a men's takeover that day.
We're doing a men's takeover. Some of us will have mothers with us by side because I got 2 little ones. I need a little help.
Can I tell you guys how premium these Brookfield Zoo tickets are nowadays? You used to be able to get Brookfield Zoo tickets from anywhere, right? No more. Brookfield Zoo said we're not having it.
Up.
Yeah, they locked it down.
So let me watch my ticket.
Free ticket. Seriously, this is a big deal.
Well, listen, go to www.whoisjac.org. That's whoisjac.org. Register for your tickets. We're almost out. I upped it. Thank Commissioner Tarsnap said, look, Action Jackson, keep taking them and I'll find you some more tickets some way, somehow. I said, okay, now we're going to cut it off, though. But right now, we still got the physical tickets. We probably got about 40 left. But call your dads, your sons, your brothers, your cousins. I don't care if you're dad, goddad, father, stepdaddy,
want to be a daddy. Should have been a daddy.
Should have been a daddy. If I couldn't say Otis joke for that one on because this 1390. But bring your kids out, and we want to just show the world that fathers are stepping up, and we're doing, because so many times the women are always at the forefront. Absolutely. And we just want to shine a light on some dads, and we got some special treats in store for you.
So you want to say we here?
We here now. Listen, and guess what? Up next, he just said we here, but he's here. It's Stacey Chauncey right after this, right here on the Brunch Bunch. So Tammy, spread the word at the daycare.
I will.
Yeah.
In fact, we give out those tickets. Those dads will show up on the west side. I've been over there.
Do you need any volunteers that day?
Yeah, we're gonna need some volunteers. Definitely.
Something going on.
He in court for his real estate fraud case. But 80 of his charges were dropped, I think.
And it's all civil.
Can I tell you the signature room is closed?
Yeah.
I sent you that. Yeah.
Was that the restaurant that was messing with you?
What? Didn't I tell them when I was there? Don't keep playing. My sister said, you know, the last restaurant that did this to my sister's closed now.
I saw all the comments.
Foul.
I saw all the comments too, and they said all the food was terrible. I'm happy.
Now that the workers have a big lawsuit against them for the Notification Act. I didn't even know it was such. You are responsible for notifying your employees when you decide to close.
That makes sense because they got to find work.
Or at least not come to that job.
Yeah, at least not come. Yeah.
Gotcha. Adam.
Yes.
Headphones, please.
I don't want to love nobody but you.
Tina said, even maybe the daddy think he the daddy, but no, he ain't the daddy. Well, he can come too. Eyes that baby pappy. Cut this Zoe and bring us in. Now listen to this new beautiful intro. I hope it's the right one, Zoe.
Let me tell you something. I'm cleaning while I'm doing this. So I want no smoke.
It's time to automate to elevate. It's your man, Stacey Chauncey. Let's go.
Whoop, 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 whoop.
I love it. We here today.
I love it. Listen to that intro.
I
love it.
It's something to be said about security, though. Unfortunately, while we were out, well, I was out, I should say, we had a shooting in front of my West Side.
Oh, no.
And we had cameras, thanks to you. And the cameras were able to help the police actually see what was going on. And they applauded us for how innovative and how updated our cameras were.
Wow, that's awesome. Well, you have to take advantage of that kind of situation because cameras are all about allowing you to be able to see what you normally would not be able to see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, the good thing, and what I do want to point out, which I got to call Stacey, because you got these Ring cameras and they're not always the best. And I'm going to tell you what happened to me. We had a delivery to be delivered. The Ring caught him on camera and gave the alert that he's delivering it. But he took the package back with him.
So that's been going on.
But when I went to look at the camera, Ring didn't record that part because it was only recording the first notification as him walking up, but it doesn't record him leaving. So I had no proof that he didn't drop the.
Absolutely delayed. So some of the Ring cameras are absolutely delayed. So the type of technology we've been able to bring forth to the viewers here and the individuals here is real time. Real time, and that's really important. I don't even think people really understand when you start talking about surveillance what that really actually means. So when you start talking about surveillance, it's the act of being able to monitor or even being able to observe groups and see exactly what's going on. And you have the ability to even be able to use that for evidence, so on and so forth, just like what you just talked about, Tammy.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to go back and retrieve that. That's why you hear the police, they reach out to, I'm going to say block clubs if you have them, and say, does anyone have any footage? Did anybody see anything? Can we stop it? They stop, knock on your door and see if you have any footage, because that's exactly how important cameras are today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you got to do it. But you know what? Last week you were here, and we like taking callers. We want to know a situation where your camera helped you, and you were grateful for that camera, call 855-999-1390, 855-999-1390. Last time we took callers with Stacey Chauncey, we just start blessing people with lunch. So you never know what you get when you call in. And shout out to Tammy's sister, who took great care of all of our listeners and us with her great sandwiches, Chicago style deli.
Oh, yes. She's amazing.
So call 855-999-1390. Tell us a story where the camera saved you or helped you, a situation.
So 51% of homeowners utilize some type of surveillance technology. Right. And you asked me this last week in terms of how many people you think actually don't have a security system. 32% of Americans still do not have an alarm system.
Wow.
They just don't.
Do they live in like the farm?
Well, a lot of, unfortunately, they rely on the neighbor. Someone's always
or Big Mama,
that kind of stuff.
Waving at the house when they leave to make you think.
The neighbor is the one you got to be looking out for.
Because Pookie that live in the basement waiting on you to leave.
Well, absolutely. We talk about the individuals that typically break in your home in that area live less than a mile from you. Less than a mile. So they checking you out when you come in, when you're leaving, when you put that 60-inch box out by the garbage can area.
Got one.
Got him.
That's right.
So it's really important for that, and so we understand the importance of security as it relates to alarms. It makes you 60% less likely to be a victim.
Oh, that's high numbers.
That's really high numbers.
Now, to go back to the surveillance part of it, because sometimes when people think, well, I don't need it for myself, but it's not always just about you. You live in this world as a member of a community. And we were very happy to be able to provide that surveillance footage for the police because the young man was 16 years old. He got shot right in front on Madison, and he died yesterday.
Oh, wow.
Now, his family is torn up, and the only thing that gives you some kind of peace is actually finding who snuffed out this young man's life.
Being able to know what happened.
Exactly.
Being able to know what happened. And so when we talk about the cameras, they're great deterrents.
Yeah.
They make people think twice. Unless you're just that bold, and you could care less. But that's really what it's about.
It is some crazy folks out here, but you be crazy enough to walk up on my porch with the camera that Stacey about to install, and I'm sending it straight to the popo.
Oh, peace be still.
Or peace be still. We got a caller on the line. Caller, what's your name and how's your experience been with cameras? Caller, can you hear me?
I have not really had great experience with the camera that I have. So I'm calling to find out what camera system do you have?
Stacey.
That's great. So what's awesome about our cameras, they're 4K, right? 4 megapixel cameras, which allow you to be able to even zoom in on whatever that situation is.
You can see pimples with your camera.
You can see pimples with my camera.
Ask me.
And here's the other thing, ma'am. It does not necessarily require you to have any lighting around the perimeter. If you do, that's great, right? But there's built-in lightings on those cameras that we provide for you.
And you know what, ma'am? You could just give Stacey a call because then there's no out-of-cost pockets for your camera either, right?
Well, no out-of-pocket. Well, that's two different things, though. We have cameras that are attached to the security system, and we have standalone cameras as well. Depending on your situation, we can design it to fit your security needs as well as your financial needs.
That's amazing. So you definitely want to call 866-447-3344. And you want to do that today, right after the show. And chances are Stacey going to be at your house in 2 more hours.
Right. Thank you for calling in, ma'am.
Okay, can you give me that number?
Sure, 866-447-3344. Again, that's 866-447-3344. And if you missed that, we will be saying it throughout the rest of the broadcast.
Yes.
It's also on our Facebook page under the Brunch Bunch.
Eval on Facebook said those cameras sound like they're the best. Yes, Eval, you got to call Stacey. And listen, believers, callers, let us know how your experience been with your home cameras. 855-999-1390. That's 855-999-1390. You know what? When we're on the show with Stacey, I'll be almost about to get up your number to call. But like like the previous caller just said, and me, I haven't had the best experience with the cameras because of the delay. You can't always go back. You can't zoom in. It's not light enough. And that's what happened when you go to, sometimes we go the cheaper route or we go a route we just don't know.
Until you actually need that camera, you don't really know how that small investment gave you small results.
And I'm glad Tammy talked about investment. A lot of times, guys, we have to really be careful about cutting corners. When it comes to security, you don't want to cut corners when it comes to your security. We don't want you to be in a situation where after the fact you're traumatized, you need therapy, you need counseling, or something happened that you, of course, you can't go back and change it. So invest in your family, invest in yourself. Peace of mind is priceless.
It is. It is. You know what? I'm so glad we're on this topic, because when I tell you that it has been life-changing for that family, because the police were able to identify. And had we had substandard cameras, we would have never been able to assist in that arrest.
Right. And solving that murder.
Exactly.
And I know the family is very grateful for that.
Well, they just now finding out that it was us, because I'm telling them now.
Oh, wow. Well, they were grateful that the person, the perp was taken in. Perps were taken in. And now they know that your great daycare center on the west side had the great cameras by Stacey Chauncey that were able to help solve.
It's funny because some people on the block had cameras too, substandard.
But
we do have a caller on the line.
No, you know what, the caller, we got disconnected. But you know what? It's good to hear these stories from people, and yours, the good, mine, the bad, and then Stacey, the expert.
and her, Tammy, talk about her daycare. Right. And so that's a whole nother level when you start talking about cameras, because you want to be able to see what's going on with those children. When you have complaints about something happening with your child at the daycare, she can roll it back. And the type of camera that we're speaking of, you can go back 30 to 45, even 60 days and have footage. And that's the difference between investing in something that is going to be beneficial for you for years to come and just putting a Band-Aid on the situation.
Or giving yourself a false sense of security. You got to have an authentic sense of security that works for you when you need it to work. It's nothing more disenchanting than when you go back to your camera, try to roll it back so you can actually see who stole your TV off the wall, and that camera can't show you. They can only show you the hood.
And you know what? I'm not a big fan of indoor cameras all the time, but I do have them inside, especially now that we got nannies around the house. But I keep them out of private areas like the bedroom. But I was able to catch a family member stealing out of my house because of a camera. And you just made me think of that. And you know what? It was like right at the hallway door when you come in, I'm watching who coming through the front door. But that camera also we had these nice little picture frames on the wall where you drop money in them. And it said saving for vacation. And somebody had went in there and took a couple of 50s out. And I was like, where the money, Valencia? And I said, hold on, let me check this camera. And was able to catch. So you know what? It's catching more than just burglars breaking in.
You know what else? A lot of times people invest and front load the cameras on the interior and say, well, I don't care what happens outside. But that's usually where you catch it.
Absolutely.
Because they are assuming that you have interior cameras, right? They're not going to reveal their goods that they stole from you till they get outside. And if you don't have a camera outside, you cannot follow the theft.
Great point, Tammy.
So you want to be able to monitor the scenarios and all the activities going around the home as well as inside the home. And now we have cameras that also have two-way audio. So you can talk to those individuals.
Yo, bro, I see you with my TV.
Put that money back in that. I'm about to come down, get you.
And a lot of times we use those types of cameras when we have caregivers coming into individuals' homes. They want to make sure they're watching grandma. They want to make sure they're doing what they need to do. They showed up on time, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm able to say, like, I can talk through the camera and say, hey, Lauren, the MJ medicine is about to be dropped off in 30 minutes. Make sure you answer the door, you know.
And then when Lauren falls asleep, you can say, hey, Lauren,
wake up, because MJ still, no, look, what you doing sleep on the clock? But no, all of these are great things, because some people say, well, I don't need a camera because I just got a security system. It's so many different scenarios where you can use these cameras, and it's a benefit for you.
And you can't rely on these police cameras either, because literally they act like that's tip top secret, actually going back and tracing The camera activity, oh, well, you got to get an act of Congress or whatever.
If it's FOIA requests
right.
and all that. Like, just give me that footage.
Right.
You got it over my house anyway.
So we just installed a camera system in a police officer's home, right? He travels a lot, you know, getting ready to retire. And so he was just talking about how the community has changed, and he doesn't want to be involved in what's going on with other people, his neighbors, situations. And he's telling them, listen, don't call me, right? You need to protect yourself and not rely on other individuals as well. So I love to hear that, because a lot of times we talk about the fact that a police officer lives next door to us.
And that gives you a false sense of security.
Absolutely, because he does not want to intervene if something is going on with you with this current, you know, climate that's going on in reference to
police.
Absolutely.
And when they go home, they go home.
Yeah.
You know, when you go get off work, you don't want to keep working. You want to relax. It ain't your job to protect and serve the neighborhood 24/7.
Off duty. How many off duty police have you heard getting shot or getting killed because they went to assist someone off duty? That's why you said off duty and an on duty.
Absolutely.
And you need to be on your own duty.
Protect your own home.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. You definitely want to call 866-447-3344. That number again is 866-447-3344.
Tammy, you know what? I thought you was like Shirley. You know, when you do that to Shirley, she be ready for that number.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
so I was like, Tammy, number. You was like, huh?
Get this. I'm about to throw this cup of water.
Listen,
document this.
Stacey, Tammy, this is great information. I love the real life scenarios, because until you start thinking, you say, well, I don't need it for this, until somebody say, well, you could catch the outside, or you can catch your neighbors stealing your water from your water holes, and you wonder why your water bill been going up. Now you got it on tape, and you got proof.
Or those packages. One thing that you all said that's extremely is if the Ring camera is actively surveilling, surveilling whatever's going on, and someone comes behind it, the camera does not have the capability of actually capturing what the next activity is. So when you have your own camera, you could have the Ring, that's great. But if you have your own camera system that surrounds the Ring, like double protection, you won't miss a beat. Now, me, I don't want to miss a beat, because we get a lot of packages, right?
And those porch pirates.
Those porch pirates are real. But you know what, Stacey? It is extremely important that with the information that you give and the scenarios that we real life show people in real life, this is what could happen, but here's a remedy.
And I think it's important for us to do that, because we really have to get the listeners to have a paradigm shift in how they're thinking, right? And that's so important. Oh, I had the system for 10 years. It's not broke. There's no need to fix it.
But crime wasn't at the rate it is at 10 years ago now.
You're absolutely correct. And so it's better to have it than not need it, than need it one time and not have it.
Yep. You know what, too, Stacey? We talk about murders. We talk about that more than we talk about anything. But if you look at the statistics, home invasions and home robberies outnumber murders 10-1 in Chicago.
Absolutely.
And the smash and grabs. And you know what? Not you think smash and grab, you think stores. But on the news, I've seen an increase in home video camera footage being used when people are sitting in their cars and these stick-up boys are not pulling up on you on your block in daylight when they see you sitting in your car with guns to rob you. So I think if we all
cameras are captured.
And the cameras are captured. So if we all on the block get the cameras, we got a safer block.
We do. And you know what? I'm glad that we're talking about safety, because it is important that we feel that we can move about the world and have a semblance of okay.
I think we should show you my own cameras.
All right, look at that grass, man.
But look, you can see the blades.
Yeah.
Literally how clear this is.
That's a good camera.
So what we're showing the listeners, showing them my actual cameras at my home. These are real-time cameras, 4K, 4 megapixel. You can zoom in and see a zit on someone's face.
This looks like Netflix.
That camera is so good, that grass look fake. I need to quit. Let me zoom in. It look like turf. That grass so good.
Tammy, you can zoom in like I'm telling the listeners, you can zoom in.
I see that paper rolling down that street.
Well, listen, believers, if you have no security, good security, bad security. You don't know if you got security. You want to upgrade your security. All you have to do is call Stacey Chauncey
at 866-447-3344. Again, that number is 866-447-3344. Now, you know, when we're talking about, I just want to pivot for a second from security in terms of home, but also security that deals with you, your family, and your life. Situation happened today, and I was in the hallway, and I noticed one of my teachers bawling. I said, "What's wrong with you? Why are you crying?" I thought someone had passed away. She said, "No, my children were under an order of protection, and that protection has now been lifted. The judge said that the father could slap the child in the face, that corporal punishment was okay, Judge Martha Victoria Jimenez. I just want to ask you, do you think that it's okay, especially we're talking about the child that just got shot right now? Of course, his father didn't do that, but we got to keep these elected officials, and judges are elected officials, accountable. Judge Martha Victoria Jimenez, we got questions for you.
And get the cameras so that if domestic violence is happening, child abuse is happening, you can record it. But you know what's happening? We are out of time. We are never out of content. And we encourage you to keep Love 24 alive. Tell someone that you don't know that you love them. Tell someone that you do know that you love them. Continue to pray for Valencia and with the passing of her father, baby Eminem. We love you.
Eminem.
Believers, we love you. Up next, AC Green. After that, Pastor DeAndre Patterson with the afternoon drive. We get it done all night long right here on Inspiration 1390.
That's right.
We love you too, Tina. Woo. And we ready.
Great show. Great info, Stacey. I like that. Keep them topics coming. Real life. Yeah.
I want everybody to inspect my little area here, okay?
I see a stain. No. So, Zoe, you see it? Not us, all right?
Listen, I know it's not y'all. I always tell them that it's not y'all.
That stain might have been there. Here go a pin mark. Didn't do it.
See you Facebook tomorrow. They said, love you, Tammy. Love you, Tammy.
Too. Miss you guys. Prayers for Valencia.